Hello there, welcome back to another video. So today I have two fragrances basically which are called Raw and Raw Instinct from the house of Titan, and this is probably the first time that I'm reviewing these two fragrances. So this is basically a first impressions about the two. So this is the Raw, this I got from Amazon. This is a 20 ml decant, and then this is a 10 ml decant that I managed to get from a fellow frag head. The reason why I got a decant is because the new one costs about 2,800 rupees for the full bottle. So I thought let me get a decant and try and let you know how these are, right? So you're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get started and find out more about these fragrances. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing to know is the differences in terms of notes and between the two. So Raw, for example, has got citrus, it's got grapefruit, it's got mandarin, and then it's got watery notes, okay? Whereas Instinct, on the other hand, has got bergamot, it's got lemon, and it's got cardamom. So that's a nice, oriental spice right there in the top note, right? In the heart notes, this has got more floral elements like, it's got aquatic notes, it's got basically some fruit notes, and then there is geranium, and then there is a couple of more floral notes. But in here you have geranium, you have carnation, but you have marine, okay? So that is another element. So whereas here there is a fruity note, there is a marine note here. Now when you talk about the base notes, there is guaiac wood and there is cedar wood on this particular one, and of course I think you have a little bit of patchouli as well. Here there is amber, musk, and there is patchouli again. Okay, so that is the primary differences if you look at both the structures, and in between there is a little bit of fruity element here, and there is a little bit of marine element, which is quite interesting to know how these fragrances are going to come up, right? Now when you put on a particular spray, so if you do a spray, and this is really good in terms of this spray off. What a beautiful spray, punches really nice, and I think Titan on the whole have done a very nice job on this particular sprayer. So though they are travel sets, they are superb. Now you get a very nice accord of that, opening of that citrus element along with a nice watery tone. So that watery tone is there across the fragrance, and that is something that you will distinctly establish yourself. And then you will feel light hints of that sweetness, a little bit of that spice element that is there probably because of the geranium flower, which is bringing up that spice element. And then there is cashmeran and guaiac wood in this, which is also bringing that light woody element, although that is not very distinctable, okay? But right at the top, this smells very nice, and that spice element is pretty nicely done. The citrus element and the watery note is very evident. So that part is very clear on this particular fragrance. Now if you talk about this, like I said, this I got a decant, and let me do a couple of sprays. Now on this one, the citrus element is very nice, but you also nicely smell that cardamom element right at the top. Okay, and then you have the same spiciness of the geranium part of it, but you don't get that a lot of that woody elements that's there on the Raw part. On the Instinct, you get mostly those musky element and the ambery part of it. Mostly the amber part of it is also very light. You get a good amount of patchouli. Okay, now in terms of the way they open, the scent profiles are very nice. Both of them are very good. They are not really same in terms of the DNA. They are very different in their DNA. So it's not like something is built on top of this. It's completely different is what I feel. Okay, they're two different scents altogether. Now after the 40-45 minutes time, what you will start noticing is this fragrances starts to go lighter. Both of them start becoming more linear and starts becoming lighter. Now when they become lighter, what you will also notice is the other elements coming up. Like for example, the fruity elements on this particular fragrance start opening up. You will feel that along with that water element, those fruity elements are just about there. On this particular fragrance, the marine note is not something that's very distinguishable. It is not very prominent. You will find a little bit of saltiness that is there. Now here, this particular fragrance is more towards an aquatic fragrance, you can say, and this is more of a citrus freshness fragrance, right? Now aside to those things, and if you look at the woody base, which is basically the woody element, which is that of cashmeran and guaiac wood, all of that part of it on this particular fragrance is not very loud, very prominent. It is very well blended with the watery notes part of it, so you don't really distinguish very much. Now this particular fragrance, after some time, after the 2.5 mark, you will feel that there is the element of patchouli, and the earthiness is something that you will feel very nicely, and the musky part of it is something that you will really distinguishedly get. Okay, so you don't get the ambery effect so much, but you definitely get the other elements. Now between the two, I feel this is a little more sweeter because of that cardamom note which is there on this particular fragrance, makes it a little more sweeter. Now here, because of that slight element of violet leaf also brings a little bit of that spiciness, but there is that floral accord that you kind of get slightly, right? Now aside to this, if you look at the way this particular fragrances are created, both of these are excellent refreshing fragrances. When you put them on, you really get a good blast of energy, you get a good refreshing feel that you put on a nice citrusy bergamot, watery, aquatic kind of fragrances. While this is more towards watery, this is more towards the citrusy cardamom note, like I said. But they are definitely clean fragrances. That means you can definitely wear it for office, you can wear it for casual, you can wear it for any occasion that you would want to. They're really good. I wouldn't say that these are very good for celebrations and all of that. I would say that since they're very clean in their scent profile, you can definitely wear it more towards office, gym and all of that part. You can definitely consider them. Okay, now in terms of the presentation of these fragrances, both look really nice, whereas this instant comes in an orange colored little bottle, whereas this is complete white. Now another part that I think most of you all are not aware is the creator behind this particular fragrance. Now the creator is Olivier Perfume. Now he is a creator who has done a lot of fragrances, especially the Mont Blanc series. Okay, the Legend, all of that is done by him. Azar Perfume, okay, Parfums de Marly, Herod, okay, Moschino's Toy, one of the Moschino Toy fragrances, and then a lot of other fragrances. A lot of your Adidas, use a lot of Kuros. So he's the man behind these fragrances. So you know that these are very mass pleasing, very clean and very neatly done fragrances. So that is something that I think maybe Titan should advertise and talk about and say that who's the creator behind this, because a very legendary person has done these fragrances, who's got a lot of very good fragrances. The Mont Blanc series, for example, is very popular. The Legend and all of them are very popular as well, right? So he's worked with a lot of brands, and I think that is another USP as to why these fragrances are so clean and so nice. The other element is they are both EDP concentration, so you kind of get really good performance in terms of lasting. Now in terms of projection, I would say they are soft scents, soft to decent, I would say, because they're not very loud scents. So you will get about 2 feet roughly between in terms of projection. The first 45 minutes or so is pretty loud, and maybe to about an hour, and after that, like I said, it's linear and starts to go down. Lasting, I would say that you get about 5 hours on this one, and you get about 4 hours plus on this one. Although this is on skin, on apparel you can probably expect an half an hour to 1 hour more, okay? But then you can definitely carry a refill of it, because after about 4 hours or so you can definitely refill, because at the price point in which they come, I think they're really good value for money in terms of how nice, clean, nice scents that are created by good perfumers, right? Now in terms of what would I choose between the two, I think I would go in for the Instinct, because I feel this is a little bit more citrusy, and it's got that cardamom note along with that ambriness. A little bit of that patchouli makes it for a very nice, clean, and a little sweeter in terms of the scent, whereas this is more towards the watery note. The citrus element is there, but the carnation geranium is still on this, and it's got Kashmiran as well. So between the two, I would kind of lean towards this, because this also feels a little more refreshing compared to that. Okay, so I'm not a big fan of more watery fragrances. I'm okay with a marine fragrance or citrus fragrance, and cardamom as a fragrance note I like a lot, so I kind of lean towards this. So that is what I would think is the first impressions between these two fragrances. Now at a price point, if you look at this, I think is about 2,400 on Amazon. I'll put in the link for you in case you want to get that, and this is about 2,800 rupees on Myntra and all of the other places that you can get, right? Now on the whole, I would say that from a fragrance point of view, both of them are really good. If you're blind buying them, or if you're looking to buy for the first time, you can't go wrong with both of them. You can definitely get either one of them and you'll be very happy. But like I said, between the two, you can kind of consider this a slightly more sweeter, slightly more spicier fragrance than this. This is more towards a slightly more watery, fruity, citrusy kind of a fragrance. So that has been my first impressions between or a comparison between Raw and Raw Instinct of Titan, and I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share, and watch out for more videos coming soon. So take care. Until that time, you're watching the Perfume Experience. Bye now.